All right. This week we're doing. I'm actually doing more of a 3 martini lunch approach instead of a happy hour because I'm actually recording this earlier in the day to accommodate for the fact that my brother and I are going to go see the new James Bond movie, Spectre, later this afternoon. So let's get things started. So first things first. Last week I had recorded this entire half hour of content before figuring out that, well, actually I didn't really figure out. I recorded the content and then uploaded the content and found out that it didn't have any video or audio because I had switched microphones and forgot to switch back. And so I had to start over. And as a consequence of starting over, the beverage I had started with ended up not being the beverage because I didn't have another one in the refrigerator ready to go. So it's making a comeback this week. It's the beverage this week. So Not Your Father's Root Beer. Now, I'm not sure how I got to be, in my mid 40s and did not realize that alcoholic root beer was a thing until this year. But this showed up at the grocery store and I was like, what? Alcoholic root beer? Hook me up with some of that. It does make pretty damn good root beer floats. It tastes quite, it just tastes like root beer, really. There's not all that much, like it doesn't really taste alcoholic per se, but it is 5.9%. So, cheers. Happy 3 martini lunch. So like I said, I've actually done a root beer float with this. It's very good. If you want to crank it up, you can do it. My wife and I have done this, and then we discovered that Bar Louie actually had a drink on the menu that was the same thing. So it was the Not Your Father's Root Beer with vanilla vodka and cream. And so, kind of a variation on a root beer float. So that's good stuff. If you've been following along on the YouTube channel at all or watched any of the YouTube videos from this week, then you know that it's been kind of a crazy week in terms of stuff. Sometimes it seems to come in barrages. I'll get a bunch of review units. UPS, FedEx show up fairly regularly. When a vendor sends me something by U.S. mail, there's probably a 50-50 chance it gets here in one piece. But we get, I get a lot of packages and a lot of stuff to review. But this week was a little bit different, both in the volume of stuff and the size, because I received not one but two different color laser printers from Dell to review. So I have these two massive boxes in my garage. Actually, one's in the garage and one's in my hallway. And then there's Microsoft sent me a Surface Pro 4 to review. Samsung sent me a Galaxy Note 5 smartphone and a Galaxy S6 Edge Plus smartphone to play with. And then there was the big one, which again, there's a YouTube video out there for it if you want to go watch that. But basically, I got one of the Black Dove digital canvas displays that I wrote about on the site last week. Samsung and Black Dove sent me a review unit to play with, and for whatever reason, it's a 55-inch Samsung television. Basically, it's a 55-inch Samsung display, and in and of itself, that would come in a large box, so it can have room for the which word am I looking for? The foam around the outside to protect it and cushion it. But I've gone to Best Buy and Target, and I've purchased televisions that are 50, 60 inches and just brought them home in my car. For whatever reason, when Black Dove and Samsung sent this thing to me, it came in a wooden crate, like a large wooden crate the size of my car. And as I said in the unboxing video, it reminded me of the wooden crate from A Christmas Story when he gets his big prize delivered and unpacks the crate to find that leg lamp with the fishnet stocking. My crate did not have a leg lamp with a fishnet stocking. It had a 55-inch Samsung display, but you have this massive wooden crate that I had to take the top off of. I had to get out power tools, take the side off the crate, to find out that there's these two boxes in there that were basically just empty boxes that were there to pad it, to fill space in the crate. And when all is said and done, it's just a 55-inch Samsung display in a box. So, bottom line, it was a busy week of receiving large items, and timing wise, not great, because we're getting ready to decorate for the holidays. We do that as early as possible around here. So day after Halloween, boom, Halloween stuff was down. Christmas bins are out, waiting for us to put the stuff up all over the house. And, now I've got an office filled with these, boxes and gadgets and stuff that I need to figure out what to do with. I guess that's all the more incentive to get those things reviewed as quickly as possible so I can ship them back and get rid of them. So let's talk a little bit about this past week. We posted a review from Carolyn Spranger of the iClever USB chargers. Now they sent us a collection of USB chargers. Some for the car, some for the house, 6-port, 4-port, 3-port, 2-port, you name it. They sent us all these USB charger devices. So Carolyn, played with them, did what she could to work with those and work, see how they work. In the end, it ended up being I think it's the first 10 out of 10 review we've ever given. So she was very impressed with them, and and overall, got a good review. But in the end, there's not a lot you can do to test. Like, you plug it into the wall, you plug some stuff into it, it either charges or it doesn't charge, and there you go. So that was that. But along the same line of chargers, I got an email about a cool thing yesterday that was these little gadgets from Chef Charger. And so they're designed for restaurants, bars, coffee shops, and it's designed to sit on the table and blend in. So they have like little light fixture, like ambiance light fixture thing for the table. They've got a salt and pepper shaker holder, and they've got coasters. And what's unique about all of these things is that they actually are portable battery chargers too. So like while you're eating, while you're having a drink at the bar, having some coffee, you could be also charging your device. So I think they sound very cool, and I flagged Bar Louie and Fielding's Local Kitchen and other places that my wife and I tend to visit, and kind of gave them the heads up and said, hey, you should look into getting some of these, because I would appreciate having this on the table next time I'm there. In the comments on the post on TechSpective, though, there have been some good points made in terms of how do you keep people from walking off with them, and Chef Charger actually addresses that to an extent because they are GPS enabled, so you can track them, and they require a special charging base. So if someone were to like take a coaster, it wouldn't do them any good because they don't have the charging base. So I guess those are the anti-theft mechanisms in place. But another point that was brought up in the comments was about the tips, the charging ports. Basically, if you have a coaster and the coaster has, basically the way the coaster works is you've got the coaster, the cable kind of wraps around and tucks in so that when you're not using it, it's just a coaster, but you can take it out and unwrap it, and then you've got the charger. But that charger is ostensibly either going to be a lightning charger, a micro USB charger, whatever. And so the issue is, how do you address, whether someone's got an Android or a Windows phone or an iPhone, and make sure that you can accommodate everyone. I don't really know offhand what the solution is for that, but the first thing that occurred to me is you don't need to have different coasters or different light fixtures or different, you don't have to change the charger, and you don't even have to change the cable per se. I've had chargers that come with replaceable tips, so if you just had something like that, but I can see where that would get to be tedious for a restaurant or a bar to manage that. So you've got to keep these things charged, put them on the tables, and then have some sort of collection of cables or tips to accommodate your patrons, and then hope that those tips and cables don't get lost or stolen or whatever. So I mean, there are some potential issues there, but overall, I thought the Chef Charger thing is very cool and has a lot of potential, and I would like to see it in the restaurants that I go to. Let's see what else happened this week. Microsoft bought another company. Microsoft bought Mobile Data Labs, which makes an app called MileIQ for mileage tracking. So it's been a while since I've been in a position as an employee or as a salesperson where I was, constantly going from a home office to visit customers or a home office to, try to sell it to clients and needing to track my miles that way. But, many small business owners, employees, entrepreneurs do need to keep track of their mileage for business tax purposes. And so, Microsoft, I guess it's a popular app because it's not something I do. I wasn't familiar with it, but it's interesting after Microsoft already bought Accompli, which was an email mobile client. Then they bought Sunrise, which was a calendar mobile client. Then they bought Wunderlist, which is a popular like to-do list type thing, and now they've got MileIQ for mileage tracking. It's just part of the puzzle. Microsoft seems to be working very diligently and aggressively toward putting together something that's innovative and allows customers to get their stuff done more efficiently. Along those same lines, Microsoft also just recently rolled out the update for iOS. The update for Outlook on iOS and Android, and it incorporated some of the design elements of Accompli and Sunrise. So you can kind of see that progress and see where Microsoft is going. So there's that. There's a post today on the site, the weekly post from Rob Enderle. He wrote about the BlackBerry Priv. He seems to like it. So actually, he's not alone. I've seen a couple other early reviews. People just kind of getting their hands on it, who say that this is the best thing BlackBerry's done in years. BlackBerry should have gone this route 5 years ago. Maybe it wouldn't be virtually dead. So I have to say I'm generally historically, I'm generally down on BlackBerry. I've been saying for years that it should just give up on the smartphone market. It did dominate at one time. It could have continued to dominate possibly had it played its cards differently, but it didn't. And it's questionable whether BlackBerry can even maintain enough market share to be worth staying in the smartphone market. I say that, but I also do get a lot of kickback. I get a lot of people, BlackBerry fans, BlackBerry loyalists who think I'm crazy, who think BlackBerry is the greatest thing that's ever happened to smartphones, and so we'll see. And in this case, the one thing that BlackBerry always had going for it, or the iconic thing that makes a BlackBerry is the physical keyboard, and this BlackBerry Priv seems to combine that iconic BlackBerry physical keyboard with a great display with the Android operating system, and that's the magic sauce there. I mean, if you dump the BlackBerry OS and switch to Android, all of a sudden the BlackBerry device is a much more appealing prospect. So, like I said, take a look at the article. Rob Enderle seems to like it so far. He does say he's only had it for like a day, so we'll see if he still feels as excited about the BlackBerry Priv in a week or two, or if he's dumped it and switched back to something else. So, as I said, I'm recording this a little bit early because I intend to go see the James Bond Spectre movie. It looks awesome. I'm excited to go see it. I've been a James Bond fan forever. So I posted a thing today on TechSpective with some interesting like infographic type charts about Bond. So one of the charts lists all of the James Bond movies, excluding Spectre, since it just came out today. But all the James Bond movies ranked from first to last by critics. And the number one movie, Goldfinger, also my favorite, so I can understand that. And we had there was a Twitter discussion yesterday about that I came late to and misunderstood the premise of, but basically it revolved around the fact that Goldfinger is basically everyone's favorite movie. And what can they do with the Bond franchise to make more movies that are as appealing as Goldfinger? So Goldfinger's number one. The last place movie was A View to a Kill. Apparently that's the one people just don't like. And then the other little infographic thing was ranking the actors in terms of who's the best James Bond. And what I thought was interesting there is the number one is Daniel Craig, who's the current James Bond. Number two is Sean Connery, and last place was Roger Moore. And I know that talking about Roger Moore versus Sean Connery is the James Bond equivalent of Microsoft versus Apple or iPhone versus Android. There are pseudo religious fanaticism on either side of that debate at times. I grew up thinking that Roger Moore was the best James Bond, mainly because he was the Bond that was in the movies I was watching when I grew up. The first movie I ever saw was For Your Eyes Only. So I, and then I went and saw all the Bond movies after that. I was when I was in the Air Force, and I was at RAF Upper Heyford in England, just outside of Oxford. I always thought one of the cool things is that there's a scene in the movie Octopussy that was actually filmed in one of the hangars there, and that was another Roger Moore movie. So, over time, I've like I said, I started with For Your Eyes Only, but over time I've watched all the James Bond movies, and I've refined my opinion some on Bond, and developed a much greater appreciation for Connery as Bond. But I'm not sure that George Lazenby or Pierce Brosnan deserve to be above Roger Moore on that list. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know what what you think. So feel free to comment. Let me know, either comment here or comment on the James Bond article on TechSpective, and let me know what's your favorite Bond movie and who's your favorite Bond actor. So like I say, I've got high hopes for Spectre. The trailers look awesome. I hear it's a long 2.5 hours, which is exceptionally long for a Bond movie. But it looks awesome from what I've seen. So I guess we can talk about that some more next week. So just to wrap up, I want to welcome a new sponsor. I'll thank all the sponsors. So I want to thank SpectreSoft and Cylance and WebRoot and Barracuda and Adobe Security, and I want to welcome Vera Security as a new sponsor. So I appreciate their support, and that's all for this week. So check back in next week for the almost internet famous weekly TechSpective happy hour, which, as far as I know, will actually be occurring closer to happy hour. Have a good weekend.